Howdy ho, howdy ho, howdy ho. So I'm doing this particular video Tuesday, July 9th, 2024. And I want to just talk a little bit today about being YouTube famous. Because I think this is an interesting concept to be thinking about in the modern world. And the idea of being famous in the modern world, it's interesting nowadays, right? There's all these kids out there and they want to grow up and be influencers. I don't even know what the hell that means. I is one, and I'm not really sure what these kids think that they're going to be doing. Like, it's interesting for me. Again, you have to understand, I graduated back in 1994. There was no career counselor that would tell me to go be a YouTuber because we didn't even know about the internet yet. Whenever the internet actually got created, the World Wide Web actually got created, basically for most of us, it wasn't really created until Windows 95 with Netscape Navigator. That really brought the internet to the forefront for most of us. So when I graduated high school, like we did not have internet. I guess there was bulletin board services or whatever else, but they just did not exist. So anyways, right? So as I grew up and I got older and blogs came out and all this other kind of stuff came out, basically there was an idea for a lot of us out there with we had learned a lot of things, and what we realized is that a lot of the stuff that we learned wasn't taught in school. It wasn't talked about in the normal mainstream media or whatever. And we were like, wow, what if somebody had told us this crap like a couple of years ago? That would have been nice. And so we were like, hey, look, there's blogs and there's now video. Why don't we talk to our younger selves, or why don't we talk to our peers about the trials and tribulations we've been through, so they don't make the same mistakes. They get to make new mistakes, right? That was basically the idea. So you have some proficiency, you have some skill, you have some lived experience. And again, like when we talk about a proficiency or whatever, again, it doesn't have to be, technical, TCP/IP or culinary or whatever. It could literally be being a gay Latina in Boston. Right, as a gay Latina in Boston, this is how I go about my life. Right, that could be valuable for other gay Latinas in Boston or other gay Latinas, in the Northeast or whatever. Anyways, right. So it didn't have to be like technical, but you did have to know something, for Christ's sakes. You had to have had a lived experience, whether you got a certificate or a degree or just had lived it. You had to have the lived experience to actually go out there and be able to present yourself. Right. And then you start presenting yourself and you start talking about the things and why you do it and this, that, and the other thing. And then people start following you. And then what we all find out about scale. Again, when I started Everyman IT doing the whole video education thing, I dreamed of a day when I would have 1,000 members. Like my goal was 1,000 members. Done. The thought of having a million plus subscribers just wouldn't even cross my mind, right? But that was the thing. And then you realize, like, there's a hell of a lot more gay Latinas in Boston than you ever grasped. And then all of a sudden you're talking about this stuff and then people are looking up to you. And then you become this thing called an influencer and you become social media famous. But the interesting part about that is, right, you start with the lived experience. You talk about whatever you're going through, and then you become social media famous. And what's curious now, though, is we have junior high schoolers and high schoolers, and they want to be influencers, or adults even, adults. And they're like, I want to be an influencer. And you're like, so what's your lived experience? What's your what's your proficiency that you're bringing to this world? That doesn't matter. Whatever is required. Oh, golly. And so it's this interesting thing. Like, there's all of these people out there now that want to be famous. They don't necessarily really care why they're famous, which is just bonkers. It is bonkers to me. And again, when I talk about being famous, I find it to be weird. Never make an ass be famous. Making an ass be famous is like giving a gold coin to a penguin. It's just not going to know what the fuck to do with it. You're like, here, little penguin. Here's a little penguin. I'm going to give you this pure gold coin. And the penguin will just look at it and be like, I don't. Do I eat it? Rub my back on it? Anyways, right? I had no idea. I had no concept of fame or whatever else. And that's one of the interesting things coming into this whole internet famous world. It's been a curious experience for me. And I think about that like today, right? So again, I've been seen all over the world. And like today, what brings this up again for my current timeline is I was running today, right? So I hurt my foot. Because I'm old. I'm getting way too damn close to 50. I was playing kickball. I was fucking playing kickball. I was playing kickball like a month and a half ago, and I gimped myself. Yes, playing kickball. You should not play kickball if you get over 30 years of age. Anyways, I was out there with my kickball team. And I really hurt myself somehow. Plantar fasciitis. I don't know. Apparently there's this ligament. There's this ligament that goes from like here to here. And once you get to be an old bastard, you shouldn't play kickball anymore because you'll fuck with it somehow. Anyways, so I was like right before I got hurt, I had gotten up to being able to do half marathons, 13-mile runs. And my plan was to do one half marathon a month. And I had done my first half marathon, or the second, but the first one of this set. And I was about to do my next one. And then I played kickball. And I fucking hurt myself. So I've been gimping along for a month and a half. Anyways, I've been working my way up back, right? Start, do nothing for like a month, then go to 2 miles, then go to 3 miles, then go to 4.25. So today was the second 5-mile run that I've done. So I'm trying to do, I run every day. So I ran 5 miles on Monday, so I ran 5 miles today. Anyways, getting back into it, I'm out there running. And it's Asheville, so Asheville is a rainforest. And that's just what our zone is or whatever else. In the summer, it's disgusting here. It can be disgusting. It's so wet. It's just so wet here. Anyway, so I was out there running my 5 miles and not even lying, 95% humidity. Fuck me, right? So anyway, so I get done, and all I'm doing at this point, again, I'm still hurt a little bit. I'm not in my best form. It's just as long as I keep just doing my one foot in front of the other for 5 fucking miles and I don't walk, that's all I'm trying to do, right? So anyways, I get to my end thing. I click on my little stop. Winner, damn chicken dinner, right? And I'm just, everything is soaked. My shorts are just soaked. They're just complete water. My shirt is dripping water, right? So I get done with this run. And I look like a goddamn guppy that just got landed. The water's pouring off of me. Again, not my finest hour, I gotta say. Not my finest hour. So anyways, I'm just, because you get done with the run, like when you do the run and when all you're doing is focus on the run, it's weird. Like as soon as you get to hit that stop button, you go from being a runner to like a granddad in like half a second. All of a sudden you're like kind of like limping along or whatever. Anyway, so I'm like gimping along, right? Sweat's coming down. There's this parking area. I'm walking and this guy like looks at me and he's like, ah, fuck. He's like, is your name Eli? I'm like, yes. He was like, oh, you're Eli the computer guy. I'm like, yes. And that's very interesting. I hate to say we got into a conversation. I try to be very polite. It was curious. He talked about he got out of the army in 2010. He got in this tech job that was way the fuck over his head. Apparently he used my content. He used my videos in order to get ahead in that tech job and get another tech job. And now it's 14 years later and he's successful in technology. And he really wanted to thank me for the work that I've done. And I'm saying like, let me go vomit for a second. Right, anyways, it was very nice. He was a very nice guy. And then I go, I get my ass wet in the car. And then I fall into the car. And I was thinking about that. Like, when you're a 13-year-old, when you're a 14-year-old, and you think about being an influencer, and you think about being famous, do you actually walk through in your brain what famous is actually going to look like what that interaction is going to be. Because again, one of the big problems I see with a lot of people, especially in modern life, is they have this idea of spheres, right? This is my famous sphere. This is my family sphere. And this is my friend's sphere. And this is my business sphere. And they shall neither meet. Which is garbage. It's just not how the world works, right? And I think about that with being famous and what young people think fame is going to be like. Do they realize if fame is a binary thing, you either are or you are not, right? And so the thing is when you're not, nobody gives a damn that you exist. When you are, the interesting part is you're going to be seen not just at Web Summit up on the stage, not just as a booth babe for Plixer at Cisco Live or whatever, not just at conferences or whatever else. You're going to be seen wherever the hell you are. And are you ready for that? Because that's one of the things. Like I talk with friends, again, even friends or whatever that know me for a while, and I talk about this YouTube famous thing. I talk about being seen or whatever, and they're like, oh, again, I had a friend recently. I've known the guy for like a couple of years. He's like, oh, really? Like people actually know you on the street? I'm like, dude, right? And again, think about this. This is a real world. And again, I know some of you only know me from the Daily Blob. So you think I'm talking out my ass. Bite me. I have another channel. If you don't know that, that's your own problem. Anyways, no, to give you a hint, right? For me, and again, 1 million subscribers, right? Again, not the best thing, right? Whatever. But I was in the Roman Forum, right? I was in the Roman Forum getting over a hangover. In Rome, drank a little too much alcohol. Plus, it's really hot. So I drank some more alcohol because I was thirsty. Don't drink alcohol when you're thirsty. Anyways, it was the morning, I was getting over a hangover, and so I went to the Roman Forum. Have you ever been to the Roman Forum in Rome? What you know is you got to bring a lot of imagination to it, right? There's lots of walls and lots of pillars, and then some material you're supposed to read that tells you why this wall is important and why that wall doesn't matter. So anyways, I'm literally sitting there in the Roman Forum, the sun's baking down, trying to get over this goddamn headache, and I'm sitting there, and I'm reading the material, and I'm trying to figure out, like, there's a wall here, and there's a wall here. I'm trying to figure out which wall is important. Probably a metaphor for this somewhere. But anyways, one of these walls is historic, and one of these walls is just a wall. Which one is which? I'm trying to figure out which. Anyways, I got a hangover. My brain's not working well. This couple comes up to me, and got brown skin or whatever. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, what? And they're like, you're Eli the computer guy. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, we're from Pakistan. So it's not like America, whatever. They're like actually from Pakistan. So they're from Pakistan. They're vacationing in Rome. I'm in the Roman Forum. They're like, you're Eli the computer guy. All of a sudden, like they start taking pictures with me in the middle of the damn Roman Forum. And I'm like smiling, hey. Right? I was in the red light district of Amsterdam. I was there with my wife. I was looking for a cup of coffee, I swear. Anyways, my wife was doing something. I was walking through the red light district because, if you've been to Amsterdam, it's not as bad as you think it. It used to be better. 20 years ago, the red light district was better. There's a lot of moms. They talk about MILFs. MILFs. Yeah, it's more like mothers. Anyways, it was weird. Anyway, modern Amsterdam is not what Amsterdam used to be. Anyways, I was in the red light district of Amsterdam. Black guy walks up to me. He's like, oh my God, you're the computer guy. I'm like, yeah. He's like, hey man, I'm an American. I have a startup company. I've used your content in order to do stuff, whatever. He was actually there to get funding, whole 9 yards. Right? I'm just walking down the street. I've been to Cancun. I've been to Starbucks in fucking Miami. Starbucks in Miami. Do you know what it's like to be in Miami? I don't live in Miami. I just have a vacation in Miami. I'm in Miami. This motherfucker from Holland. It's like, oh my God, you're Eli the computer guy. I'm like, what? Oh, fuck me. I just want a cup of coffee. Right? Like, I was in Pigeon Forge. It was stressful. My wife had the cancer issues. I don't know. We were going to Smoky Mountains or whatever, do some hiking or whatever. So we had a day of hiking. I was tired and cranky. We got all this other stuff going on. We went to this all-you-can-eat place, and they had all-you-can-eat ribs. Oh man, I was just digging those ribs. I was stress eating. Stress eating at a buffet is probably not a great idea, but I was doing it, right? You're just, and again, it's like buffet quality ribs, so lots of grease, right? You're just motherfucker. Guy literally sitting at the table beside me goes, "Oh my God, you're Eli the computer." I'm like, "Oh, fuck, what? You're Eli the computer guy?" Yeah. And I I elbow bumped him, and then I went back to my stress eating. Right? I was halfway up the way to Old Rag. I was walking up Old Rag. These two soldiers, as they were running fast, they're all, brah. Literally, motherfuckers like go up. They get halfway up the trail, fucking perfect about face. Guys like, "Oh my God, you're Eli the computer." I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because again, there's nothing quite like having been a soldier and then going up a mountain and watching actual soldiers. And you're like, "Dear, I used to be like that, I swear." Taking a fucking selfie up an Old Rag, right? Anyways, I got more of these stories. Walking halfway across Denny Way in Seattle, walking across Denny, like literally going across the street, motherfuckers, like, "You're Eli the computer guy." I'm like, what the hell is it with these people? But anyways, and why I bring this up, again, not to be braggadocio. The point is this is real. This is my lived experience. I am talking about the actual lived experience of being social media famous and YouTube famous. And I think one of the nice things for me is everything that I've done has more or less been technology focused or life experience focused. And I've also made sure the frame of the camera only shows what I want to show people. But one of the things to be thinking about with this, and again, all of these things, again, halfway across Denny Way. And again, this is not CES, this is not Web Summit. Yeah, people know me there. I mean, this is just walking across the goddamn street, being half, way across the country. But the important thing to be thinking about this is if you want to be social media famous, to understand what that's really like, and ask yourself if you're ready for that type of just being able to be recognized, and especially with the type of content that you put out. So I think about this with Nerdgasm, Jerry Berg, good guy. He went a bit wonky. He went a bit wonky. Anyway, there's this guy, Jerry Berg, Nerdgasm. He has a YouTube channel. I guess he does Twitch. He went wonky. Anyways, he did a lot of video game stuff. He did techie stuff, but he's a video game techie type person. Again, I'm one of those people. I play video games. Hey, I just beat Fallout 4. I literally had to Google search whether I was finished with the game. Modern games are so convoluted, I wasn't sure if I'd actually beaten the game. True story. Like the other day I sat there and I set off this nuclear bomb somewhere. And then there was like this scene. And then the guy gave me something and said, "Now you can do whatever you want." And I was like, okay. So I kept playing missions. And I just had this feeling like, did I beat the game? I didn't know if I beat the game. I was like, I kind of seemed like I beat the game. I literally had to Google search whether I beat Fallout 4. That is a metaphor for something. It is either a metaphor for modern video games or it's a metaphor that I'm closer to a boomer than I'd ever like to admit. Anyways, but I don't really talk to you folks about video games other than that kind of idiocy, right? But he's a video game. He does a lot of video game stuff. And the interesting thing is the video game community are fucking bastards. They are weird fucking bastards. The people that I know that are like in the video game world of being influencers, the crap that they've had to deal with blows my mind. Right? Nobody gives me death threats over how I explain subnet masking. Oh my godly, you don't like the right video game. And holy hell, like literally, he was getting so many threats, and the police wouldn't do anything until finally there was a threat of a significant enough degree that he was literally able to call the FBI. The FBI was on the case for that freaking level of trolling. So now think about this. Again, think about this. I was in Rome. I was in Denny Way. I was in Cancun. I was in Georgetown. I was in Miami. I was in all these places, and people knew who the hell I was. But again, the tech world, we might be assholes, but we keep it to a limit. Keep it to a limit. But think about this. If you're a video game influencer, and those bastards take video games seriously enough to really start sending you death threats, how comfortable are you going to feel about being internet famous? I think about this. Frenemy of the show, Louis Roosman, right? He had his ex-girlfriend now. I'm very curious what happened there. Anyway, it's not my business. Erica. If you know Louis Rossman, you're following him for a couple of years. You know, there was Erica. And Louis did not follow the framing rule. Motherfucker allowed real world to get into the frame. So anyways, he would have Erica in a show sometimes, because that's what happens. You're like, I'm having fun. I might as well bring my friends and family into it. No. Just because you're having fun with heroin doesn't mean you shoot up your wife with it. Anyways, brought Erica into it. She ended up getting a stalker. She ended up getting a real goddamn stalker. Apparently, the fucker showed up at like some in-person meetup that Lewis was doing. And I guess things got pretty interesting there. But again, think about that. Because again, you guys don't know what the hell my wife looks like. I guess if you've done enough damn research, you can figure it out somehow. I'm never going to show you what my wife looks like. Why the fuck do I want to deal with that crap? Right? But that's the kind of stuff that you have to think about with this whole idea of being internet famous, and then how are people going to interact with you? Not only that, you got to think about the kind of content that you're going to do, and do you want people in the real world, I don't know, dealing with you with that type of content? I think about this. So I was doing the commentary. I tried commentary. It makes money. Don't get me wrong. Commentary makes money, but fuck me, it's so stupid. Makes my brain cells die. Every time I talk about Biden or Trump, it's a couple more brain cells that are dead. I might as well drink a bottle of whiskey. If I drank a bottle of whiskey instead of talking about Trump or Biden, I would have more brain cells left at the end of it. Truly. But anyways, again, with the whole internet famous thing, thinking about what you're putting out into the world. And again, there's something called parasocial relationships. So most likely, what you may have with me is what's called a parasocial relationship. And what the parasocial relationship means is you feel like you have a relationship with me, and I have no goddamn idea that you exist. That's a parasocial relationship, right? And unfortunately, in the modern world, that's what we have. People create content. I have this conversation with the camera. It feels like I'm talking to you. I'm not. I'm talking to a camera. And then you feel like you have a relationship. And then the people that feel like they have a relationship, then if they actually meet you in the real world, they want to talk or discuss or argue about stupid crap. Again, I think about it. I actually have a friend of mine. I have a friend of mine who's doing the commentary stuff. And then, I don't know, he said something. And I was just like, dude, I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to vote for who I'm going to vote for, and you're going to vote for who you're going to vote for, and I don't give a fuck about your opinion. And it's like, right? This is an actual friend. But I looked at it, and the funny part was like, oh, you can't handle an argument. So no, jackass, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't even care what I say. I say what I say. I get paid for what I say. Hey, buddy, you know the difference between me and you? I say stupid shit. I get paid. You don't. You don't. If you got paid for saying stupid crap, you should go do that. I am not going to give you $5 for whatever the fuck is about to come out of your mouth, right? Think about that, right? You get into politics or whatever else. The people that are around you, right? They'll come up to you and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I've been following what you're saying. Blah. And all of a sudden you get hit with crap. And you're like, I don't want to be here. And again, people get a vested interest in that. They get angry, right? They get happy or they get angry. They get emotionally connected to the garbage that you're putting out there. And again, depending on the type of garbage that you're putting out there, I mean, that can be a lot of emotion that goes along with that. And are you prepared for that? I think about years ago, HBO, back when HBO was HBO, they used to do documentaries, but like saucy documentaries. And so they were doing this documentary on a guy who was running a porn business, right? So I guess his father had run the porn business. And so now it was going down to his son, and his son was taking over this porn business, and they were doing a documentary about it. Anyways, one of the fascinating things about that, though, and I think about the porn industry and YouTube, again, I talk about shaking my brain nipples every once in a while, is the guy was talking about when you get the actresses in, it's like, new actresses. So new actresses, whatever, they want to be porn stars. They say they want to be porn stars. And so we bring him in, do the interview. And he was like, look, one of the things you got to understand, if you're going to be a porn star, everybody's going to see you, right? Your boyfriend is going to see you. Your ex-boyfriend is going to see you. Your future boyfriends are going to see you. Your uncle may see you. Your father may see you. Your nephew is going to see you. What you have to understand is once you put this to video, the males in your life, there's a good chance that they're going to see it. Are you really comfortable with that? I think that was some interesting advice, or at least an interesting thought for these women to make the decision on what they were comfortable with this idea of once you put this stuff to video, anybody can see it, right? And I think about that with, I had a niece of mine a few years ago. And I was doing my daily blobs. I was screaming the way I used to do in my 3 hour daily blob shows. And then I went to Thanksgiving. And she was like, yeah, I watch your daily blob shows. And I was like, oh God. It's like a 13-year-old girl watching my daily blob shows. Watch my little brain nipples just flop in the wind. And I was like, crap. I was like, what do you think about my daily blob shows? Do you understand what I'm talking about? She's like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. But you're funny. And I'm like, okay, good. Whew. Little girl doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about. But again, think about that. Think about your niece, your 13-year-old niece, saw whatever you're doing online. How comfortable would you be with that? Your parents watching you online. Your spouse. I actually had to force my wife to stop watching me because she would get into arguments with me. Like I would get done, I would do a video, and then later that day she would start arguing with me. And I'd be like, dear, I don't care. She's like, but you did a video on this earlier today. And I was like, I don't even remember what I said. Dear, I get paid to talk into a camera. I have zero interest in giving you $5 for your opinion, at least on this subject. But anyways, it's some things to ponder, some things to think about. Like when you think about being famous, do you think about the red carpet? Do you think about the conference or being up on the stage at Web Summit or something like that? Do you think about giving, whatever? Or do you think about getting done with a run after you've hurt your foot in 95% humidity, gasping like a goddamn guppy that's been landed, and having to be really polite to a very nice guy as he says thank you for what you've done? All right? Some things to be thinking about. Some things to be thinking about, ponder. So anyways, there are some thoughts for the day. There is a thought for the day. I'm gonna go clean my deck. Got to power wash my deck, paint my deck, as men do. So I guess I will see y'all later.